Got myself a drink for this one. What's up everyone? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if it's your first time. I'm so excited to have you. As you can see by the title, this is TMI Girl Chat. If you know me in real life, you know that I'm an open book. I love talking about things that honestly are maybe uncomfortable to some people. I love connecting with others on topics and on situations that are just not often talked about enough. I've decided to create a playlist on this channel called TMI Girl Chat, Girl Talk. I want to just be someone that you can turn to if you need advice on something, or just someone that can offer information on my own experience around things like sex, things like intimacy, our periods, all the things that fall under this girl talk umbrella that are taboo and not talked about enough, and I think they should be. I'm taking a step in that direction here and creating this playlist. So the playlist is just gonna be called Girl Talk. This is the first video in that playlist, and I wrote on my Instagram asking the people that follow me there to provide some questions or topics or things that they think would be interesting for me to talk about in this first video. And so I do have 4 topics that I'm going to talk about today based on the feedback I got from Instagram. So definitely follow me on Instagram so you can get those questions in real time. So take it with a grain of salt. Maybe all the advice or the experiences I've had are not going to be in line with how you feel, and that's cool. This is just a place to have conversation and have girl chat. So grab a drink. I certainly did to create this video. Just a plug, this is one of those pre-made drinks. It's by Island District is the name of the company, and it's just tequila, aloe water, and honey, and it is so good. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's get started. Okay, so the first topic is sex. And so I got a good amount of questions that kind of fell under the umbrella of just like sex or intimacy, and so I wanted to just start off with that because it's juicy, it's fun. So one question that stood out to me was sex in long-term relationships, and obviously this hit a chord with me because I've been with my partner for over 12 years now. And when you think about like social media or like podcasts and advice, I don't know, platforms, it's all around like single women, dating, the exciting part of life, right? When you are just flirting, hooking up, whatever. There's not a lot of places you can go to get advice on long-term relationships and how to keep things fun. And honestly, when you look at like the divorce rate, when you hear people talk about, oh, the honeymoon phase is over soon and then you're just in a relationship. Like, there are ways to avoid that. There are ways to keep your relationship exciting, and sex is a huge part of that. So I guess my biggest piece of advice is to constantly try to keep your intimacy top of mind and a top priority in your relationship. I just think it's so important to not let that fall to the back burner as life goes on and as you get comfortable with your partner. Like, it is so exciting to go through different phases of a relationship and get comfortable, and there's exciting chapters that come after that honeymoon phase. My advice would be to just have conversations with your partner about, you know, what can we do to make things fun? What can I do to change things up for you? What can we do to just make sure that we're still excited about each other? I do think it is so important to just make sure that you are constantly keeping an intimate connection with your partner, because I think honestly it's the root of a lot of successful relationships. There are so many other things that are important: communication, trust, understanding each other's boundaries, like so many things. But intimacy is so important in a relationship, and it is what is going to continue to help it grow and help you feel connected. So sex in a long-term relationship, essentially my thoughts on that are, 1, it depends on you and your partner and making sure that you both are on the same page. Have those conversations so there's no disconnect. I think transparency when it comes to intimacy is so important, because then things don't get lost in translation. And find ways to mix it up. When you are having sex with the same person for a long period of time, it can get monotonous and it can get boring, honestly. And so it's important to just make sure you're doing things that are exciting. Be curious, sit down with your partner over a glass of wine and talk about ways that you can make your relationship sexier. I just think being transparent in a long-term relationship, putting on the table what you both want, intimately will really help you and will help keep things fun. I am in a situation where I have been in a long-term relationship. We are still young. We don't have children. Obviously, when you grow your family and you grow your responsibilities, like, things do change. But I think the biggest advice, again, I keep harping on it, is to just have an open communication. And the second that you're feeling like, honestly, you're not like satisfied with your intimacy levels in your relationship, or you're not happy with the amount of times you and your partner are coming together in that way, like, sit down and talk with them about it before it becomes a problem and before it like festers in you and then it, you know, translates into other areas of your relationship. Like, don't let that happen. And when you're feeling a disconnect, sit down and have a conversation. Okay, so moving on. Another question and topic that I got was sex during COVID, when you're like around each other all the time. And again, super relatable for me. Me and my partner were together for well over a year. He just recently started going back into the office a few days a week, but we were together pretty much every day, all day. It was nice at first because usually Monday through Friday we only saw each other at the end of the night, so it was nice for a while to just have each other around. We shared more responsibilities in that house, but it definitely hit a point where we felt like we were with each other so much, but we had no quality time. I think when you're constantly around someone, you don't make the effort to still have quality time with them because you're just like, oh, we're with each other all day, like, that's all that matters. So quality time and sex, I think, go hand in hand, because it's just important to make sure that you're not just saying, all right, well, we're with each other, so we don't need to invest in these parts of our relationship. And so for us, what really worked was dedicating certain days. Honestly, we tried to do like one weekday night and one weekend night or day time for just like connecting with each other. And you'll get to understand through my advice in this video that I am huge on intentional conversation and like connection in a relationship, like actually making the effort, doing the work to fix problems in a relationship. I think you have to do that. And so I like structure sometimes to just help rebuild or like repair issues in a relationship, and that just works for us. And so we dedicated like one night a week to a date night. We would sit down at the dinner table, eat and cook and whatever together. And same on the weekends. We would make sure we did one activity or something that just was for us. And usually that would lead to us being really excited to be intimate. And I just think that is important, especially when you're with someone so much, like in the pandemic. And I don't know, that's just really worked. I also think there's like an attraction component when you're with each other so much, especially in a long-term relationship and with COVID, like intimacy and your attraction can fade. I think that when you are overexposed to your partner, if that makes sense, it's hard. There's no air of mystery. There's no like absence makes the heart grow fonder where you're missing them. And usually those things, at least for me, lead to me wanting to get closer with my partner. And so I would just say try, especially if you're both still home because of COVID, try to just distance from each other. You don't need to chit chat during the day. Like, just agree, we'll do our own thing, we'll chat tonight. And it just leaves a little bit of sexiness and mystery to the relationship. So that's worked for us too. So hopefully that makes sense. I did not really prepare too much as far as what I was going to talk about in this video. I just wanted it to be organic. So take it for what it is. This is funny. Someone wrote craziest place to have sex, which I thought was interesting. And honestly, again, sorry if anyone of my family is watching this, just, you don't have to. But I would say, like, make it a goal to have the places that you have sex get a little crazy, because I think it's so fun. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you, something that Jonathan and I just do, I'm sorry, it's like whenever we go to a wedding, we have sex at the wedding. You have to do things to keep things fun. So I'm not ashamed, I'm not embarrassed, just been exciting to constantly mix it up. And I would suggest doing that in your relationship too. As long as you're not hurting anyone, you're not, no public indecency, make sure you're in a location that is secure and no one's gonna be like walking in on you. But for me, that's kind of how I'm gonna address this question that came up, is you invent your own craziest places to have sex and make it fun, make it exciting. You only live once, like life is so short, you don't need to just have sex in your bedroom, especially in a long-term relationship. Okay, so something else was turn-offs and turn-ons and how that changes as you get older and how things shift. And so I think that's a really great question too. Like, I got some really great questions and topics on Instagram, so thank you all. But That one was really interesting to me, and honestly, like, Jonathan and I are obviously still pretty young. I would again just say, never allow yourself to not be excited by your partner, and try to constantly notice new things about them. Are they taking on a new hobby? Are they trying something new? Are they dedicating themselves to X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, and be interested in that and let it excite you. I don't know, life is just too short to get bored with our partners, and then life's boring when you're bored with your partner because that's your person. So I don't know, my turn-ons are just anytime Jonathan is passionate about something or excited about something new, and my turn-ons are when he's really excited about the things that I'm trying out, I'm doing. My biggest turn-ons are definitely those types of things. Obviously, I'm extremely attracted to him. Hopefully he's extremely attracted to me. That helps too. I don't know, I just think being excited about the changes that come with life as you're in a long-term relationship and as a relationship progresses is the best way to keep things fun and to continue to be turned on by them. Okay, so this was another one that I thought was really interesting, and it is porn in a relationship. Is this healthy? And I responded to the person that sent me this. I was like, wow, that's a really good one. Like, I really needed to think about it. When it comes to porn in a relationship, I personally feel that there should be a conversation. Put it out on the table, what your boundaries are as far as your partner watching porn, and what your partner's boundaries are with you watching porn, because I strongly believe that porn can create unrealistic expectations in the bedroom, in your sex life with your partner. I definitely believe that. However, one, there's ethical porn out there. There's a lot of porn that requires both partners to be completely consensual, where it is made in a way that is ethical, that I would be happy to link down below if you would like. There are awesome options out there that are really just realistic and just create a better standard for real life. That being said, have a conversation with your partner is all that I would advise there, because everyone's different. Some people, it might be a hard no for them. I don't want porn. It is a trigger for me. I don't like that you watch it, and you have to find alternatives because you do have to respect your partner. However, it should be a conversation. Maybe explain why you really need porn in your life, whatever. I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yum, and if it's your jam, then have that conversation with your partner and put it out on the table. That way it's fun. If like you can find a way to bring it into your intimate situations, do that, go for it. Whatever's gonna keep you in a healthy relationship, I'm here for. And so my advice is just, you have to have a conversation and get on the same page. All right, so the next topic is our period. Yes, everyone's favorite thing that happens once a month, or however it works for you, because we're all different, but let's talk about our periods. Everyone drink whenever I say period. So I want to first talk about cycle syncing. And so if you have not heard about this, it is really fascinating. Even if it's not something that you can incorporate into your life and into your lifestyle, the best way to cycle sync, honestly, is being aware, of course, of like where you're at in your cycle, but also to eat certain foods during different parts of your cycle. That does really work to treat your body and give it what it needs to help like alleviate some symptoms that happen at different stages of your cycle. So the 4 phases of our cycle, right? Of course, the first phase, menstrual, when we're getting our period, follicular phase, ovulatory phase, and then our luteal phase. 4 phases. And so menstrual, during this phase, you're bleeding, you're having your period. And so things that you should do, right? And I am reading off of this Healthline article that I found. Can also link this if you would like to do more research. But on your period, you should drink soothing tea to combat cramps, avoid or limit fatty foods, alcohol, caffeine. Honestly, it's so hard, obviously, to like plan your life around your period, but I have noticed that when I don't drink or have coffee on my period, my cramps and my symptoms are so much less. So kind of annoying and not super realistic, but something to try out. I'm gonna go through this quickly, but follicular phase, try to incorporate foods that will metabolize your estrogen. So focus on sprouted and fermented foods like broccoli, sprouts, kimchi, and sauerkraut. So I have definitely incorporated this. So right after your period, try to eat foods like sauerkraut, sprouts, kimchi, like just those fermented foods are so soothing to your gut and to your body at that phase in the cycle. Something to consider there. ovulatory, so this is when you're ovulating. If you're trying to get pregnant, that's the time. And so your estrogen is at an all-time high, so you should eat foods that support your liver, it says. So anti-inflammatory foods like whole fruits, vegetables, almonds, things like that. Again, I'll link this. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I do think it's a cool way to nurture yourself during different phases, and it helps you feel better about your body too. And then luteal is when your estrogen and progesterone both surge and then wane during this period. So eat foods that produce serotonin naturally. Leafy greens, quinoa, buckwheat, for example. Let it just be a reminder that your body changes so much throughout 1 month. Like, it's insane that we're going through literal phases constantly. And so change is okay. And for me personally, and I think the person that asked this question was getting at this too, like, how do I treat my body? And I think, how do I like love my body at different points in my cycle? I know for me, pretty much half the month, I'm just experiencing so much bloat because I'm like preparing for my period and then I'm on my period. And then there's like a half of the month where I feel pretty good. But it's so hard to forget when you feel good when you're going through the periods where you're really bloated. And so I have just been trying to change my mentality around my period, know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to, like my body is preparing to eventually bear children, and that is so beautiful. And even if you don't eventually want kids, it's just pretty cool that your body is a vessel to be able to do that. And that's why you're going through this cycle. For me, I just try to talk good to myself, eat good foods, do good things to my body. Everything with your gut controls like your psyche, controls your emotional state. Like, your gut is the root of all evil. So if you're putting bad things into your body, like, it's going to be reflected in like your mood, your personality. So it is important to put the right foods into your body, especially around your period. I've been cycle syncing for a few years now, and it's not something I do religiously, and it's not something I dedicate my life to, but I try to just be very aware of where I'm at in my cycle so that I can help myself to feel good, or at least the best I can at each phase. So another thought around our periods too is about staying active. And so on this link in this article, and just if you look up cycle syncing, there are so many websites and just research that it's showed what you should be doing on certain phases or during certain phases. But one thing that I hope someone is telling you is that you don't need to work out strenuously while you're on your period. And it's so hard because, again, it's usually when we feel the worst about ourselves that we want to like work out and feel better and alleviate the bloat or whatever. But like, you don't need to do that. For me, when I am on my period, I am not doing strenuous workouts. I am nurturing myself, doing yoga, or doing nothing, going for a walk. I'm not allowing myself to believe that because I'm really bloated, I need to go run 5 miles. I believe that that's not doing the best for your body when you're working out strenuously on your period. And I feel better when I don't do that. So just a reminder that when you're on your period, it's okay. You're not weak for sitting out of the spin class. Go for a walk, do some yoga, or lay in bed and watch Netflix on your period, because you're strong as shit and you don't need to prove anything to anyone that you can work out when you're on your period. Oh, I also got a question on period cups, and to be honest, I want to try period cups so bad. I just chicken out every single cycle, and I'm going to try it. I just haven't yet, so I'm sorry I can't offer much advice. I think period cups are awesome because they're sustainable. I hate putting a tampon in every month because even when you get the organic kind, it still just feels invasive. Like, I hate tampons, I really do. I haven't made the move to a period cup yet. I've heard that you really need to be like comfortable with your anatomy to use them, because obviously you really got to get in there. There are a lot of tips and resources out there to help you get used to them, but I just like haven't made the jump. And maybe let me know in the comments if you use period cups and you've had a great experience. I would love to hear that because I want to do it. I just haven't yet. So yeah, let me know if you have. And I'm sorry I'm not more helpful. Maybe in future videos, once I've tried the period cup, I can talk about my experience. I would be happy to do that. Oh, and then the last point on periods, I wrote regular cycles. There are so many people out there that say you need to have like a 28-day cycle and get your period for 4 days and it shouldn't be too light and blah, blah, blah. And I just think, talk with your gynecologist and understand how your body works and the best things you can do to maintain a healthy cycle, not a regular one, because I don't believe in regular cycles. So that's all I'll say on that. I've had a lot of experience and a lot of issues with my cycle over the years. Maybe one day I'll do a video on that. It's still a little bit of a sensitive subject for me, so maybe I'm not ready yet, but have a conversation, again, with your gynecologist to explain what your body has experienced and why you maybe need to make some changes, or why your period is happening the way it is, because there could be a reason for it. And so I'm babbling. That's all I'll say on that. And so the next topic, I was so excited, I got a few questions around, and it is our careers as women. And I am so happy to talk about this. Like, let's take a break from period talk and talk about our careers, shall we? So I am definitely someone who believes that women do, for the most part, like holistically, we do have to work harder to get on the same playing field as our male counterparts. I believe that. You're not gonna change my mind on it. I think there are definitely companies that are doing so much to change that, to combat that. And maybe in your experience, you haven't had that be a thing, but until we have like no equal pay day for women, I firmly believe that most of the time women have to work harder. And you know what? Fine, it's not gonna stop us, right? We're still gonna get just where the big boys are. So that being said, I think we have two choices in our careers, and it is to like wallow in the fact that we're not gonna get higher up the chain as fast as other people, or we can just work harder. And you know what? We are women and we are not afraid of working harder. At least I'm not, and hopefully you're not either. And it sucks, it's the way it is, but sometimes things just suck. And so I would say that my advice with this is to pay attention to men in your department, men on a similar career path as you. Pay attention to the way that they're working their way up the ladder or whatever, if that's what you're trying to do. That's worked for me. I've just paid attention. I've just been aware of the reality of a situation, and I've proven myself and worked hard to get myself to where I want to be. One thing that I've noticed that men do really well that sets them up for success is network. And I think it's something that is so like glossed over for women sometimes, which is probably not the case for everyone, obviously not the case for everyone. But I would just say my advice with navigating your career is network with every opportunity that you have. Like, prove to people that you bring something to the table when you're meeting with them. Always have something to offer to someone in the room. That's the way of the world. People always want something from you, and if you're trying to reach a career goal, bring something, give them something to write home about. Similar to that is your brand. What do you want your brand to be? Who do you want people to know you as? What do you want your reputation to be? And work on your personal brand. Sit down and write down, you know, if you met with someone and then they walked away and told someone else about you, what would you want them to say? And I think it's important to know that, because then you can start to like tailor your interactions with people to make sure they have an opinion of you that you want them to have. Reputation sometimes is out of your control. People will make their own assumptions, but I think understanding what you want your personal brand to be and making that happen is so important in your career. Men are really good at that. They're really good at networking, just overall. Again, I'm making like blanket assumptions here, but the studies prove that what I'm saying is pretty true, and men are good at networking, and it's often how they work their way up the ladder. So be good at networking too, and be good at building relationships with people. Find mentors. This is huge. Find informal and formal mentors. Seek out mentors. If there is someone in your life that you look up to, reach out to them and see if they'd be willing to get coffee with you for 30 minutes every month or whatever it is. And just have mentors. Have people that you trust to give you advice that are on a career path that you're interested in. And I think that's been definitely helpful for me. I've had a lot of mentors in my life, personally and professionally, and it's shaped me into who I am. And then naturally, it helps to enhance your network too, because now you have people in your corner that want you to be successful. Lastly, just 3 things I wanted to touch on are feedback, take on challenges, and confidence. And so feedback, when you're having conversations with people that you are presenting to, if you have stakeholders in your life, people that you are, you know, delivering a presentation to, or providing some sort of deliverable or product or whatever it is, ask for feedback. Ask first. Before they give you feedback, ask for it, because it shows that you care and you want to do well and make a difference. It also shows that you're willing to learn and be open to constructive criticism, and that's just traits that people like. So ask for feedback. Also, you're gonna improve by getting feedback, because you're gonna know what you did well and you're gonna know your areas of opportunity. Take on challenges. Try new things, dip your toes in new water. That's really all there is to it. My biggest milestones in my career, the biggest steps I've taken, have been complete challenges for me. Me just nodding my head yes and being so scared. Last is confidence. I think there is a balance between like being who you are and being confident, and there are a lot of situations and times where you're probably not confident, but you need to put on the act that you are. You have so much that you're bringing to the table, and a piece of advice that I love is never think that you're the dumbest one in the room. No one is smarter than you. They just have more knowledge or information or time than you have had to learn something, to be an expert. So never let yourself think that anyone in the room is smarter than you, because they're not. They just have a little bit more knowledge on certain subjects. And that's really helped me. And that's all that I have to say on careers. So I really hope that was helpful. Okay, and then the last topic that I'm gonna cover today is relationships. And I know I've kind of touched on relationships through the intimacy and sex topic, but I got some specific questions that were more around relationships as an umbrella topic that I wanted to talk about. So got a question that said, is it cool to have crushes while you're in a relationship? I would say yes. You wanna know why I say yes? Because if I said no, it's not gonna change the fact that you have a crush. I have crushes on so many people, and so does Jonathan. It's fun. And also on that note, it's fun to flirt while you're in a relationship. Healthy flirting is okay. One, it's nice to feel sexy and to feel fun. If you're out at a bar with your girlfriends and a guy wants to buy you a drink, awesome. Like, Jonathan loves when that happens, because then he doesn't have to buy me a drink. And again, this may be touchy for some of you if you are in relationships where trust is an issue, and I actually should have prefaced that. For me and Jonathan, trust has never ever been an issue. It's just we have plenty of issues. I'm not putting our relationship on a pedestal, but trust has never been one. And so if you are in a relationship where your boundary is that you don't love when your partner flirts or whatever with someone else, please stick with that. This just works for us. And in a long-term healthy relationship where trust is solid, I think it's okay to have healthy flirting and to have healthy crushes. Obviously, once you start acting on those things, that's a different story. But what I was getting at is I think it's totally fine. I mean, it's a confidence booster too. Like when Jonathan gets hit on at a bar, his confidence goes up, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And that's just my personal opinion on that. I think it's healthy. I think having crushes, especially like celebrity crushes, I actually got a question that was, who's your celebrity crush? I will give mine, and I will actually tell you Jonathan's too, because I think that that's fun. My celebrity crush is actually Blake Lively. If I had a hall pass, it would be for her, 1000%. And so Jonathan's celebrity crush is Jana Kramer, and I'm like, Jonathan, she's recently divorced, so shoot your shot. Anyways, that's kind of my 2 cents on that. I think that jealousy in a relationship is really ugly and it's really damaging. And so if you can have enough of a bond with your partner that you're cool if they have a crush or if they have healthy flirting when they're out, like, I just think that is healthy. Again, when you're with someone for a long period of time, you need to have outlets and ways that you can have fun in life and still love your partner, respect your partner. Again, have conversations about your boundaries. This is just my experience with my partner that I've been with since I was really young. We love a little healthy flirting and healthy crushes. That works for us. So next question is around fighting with your partner. Is this healthy? Yes. You know the couples that are like, I've never had a fight, like me and my partner don't fight, like, sorry, I'm not trying to hate on you if that's you. I'm so happy for you that you don't fight with your partner. For me, I feel like a healthy fight is so good. Nothing feels better than just putting your emotions out there in a heated argument. No, I just think that fighting shows that you still care. It shows that you're willing to, one, let your partner know that something's bothering you. Because if you don't fight with your partner, there's a good chance it's just because one of you guys or both of you are not sharing how you're feeling all the time. Our fights, personally, me and Jonathan's, are oftentimes when we are just not communicating effectively. He's not understanding where I'm at. I'm not understanding where he's at. I've hurt him and I didn't know it, or I knew it and I just didn't care and I wasn't being called out on it. And then he calls me out and we fight. Like, it's just me being honest. I also believe that it's okay if you go to bed upset sometimes and then you wake up in the morning and you talk about it when you're more clear-headed. I know everyone tells you don't ever go to bed angry. Like, it's okay to have an argument and you both need some time to settle down. Talk about it in the morning over a cup of coffee when you're clear-headed. I definitely think fighting is healthy in a relationship and can actually make your relationship better. So that's that. Okay, also, this is something that I did not get a question about, but I wanted to touch on, and it is about being secure in your relationship. Don't let social media make you feel otherwise. Social media should play zero part in your relationship. You should not compare because no one's posting about their bad days. Everyone on social media has a life that's very similar to yours. It's just glamorized. I am guilty of sharing my love for my partner on social media. I love that man, and I'll post about how much I love him. But I'll tell you what I don't post. I don't post our bad days. I don't post when we don't talk a whole day because we're really upset with each other. That's why also I love this YouTube channel, because I feel like I can really be me. Talk about like the good, the bad, the ugly, the real parts of who I am, and connect with people by being real. And so don't compare yourself to anything on social media, especially Instagram, when it comes to your relationship. So that was the last topic for relationships and the last topic in this video. And so hopefully this was helpful. Again, I want to do more videos like this, so definitely let me know in the comments what you want to hear from me, or direct message me on Instagram and let me know some things you want me to touch on. Some ideas I have for future videos. One is insecurities, and just like talking about our insecurities as women and just in life. Like, what are we insecure about? Why are we insecure? How can we have more confidence about certain things that we don't love about ourselves? Like, I want to talk about that. Especially with social media, it is so hard to even know if anyone else has insecurities. You feel alone in yours and all that good stuff. So I'd love to talk about that. I would love to talk about setting boundaries. And I know if you couldn't tell, especially around the topic of sex, I feel like a lot of my advice is around setting boundaries, having transparent conversations. It has been the reason, or one of the biggest reasons why my husband and I have been together for over 12 years, is because we have boundaries with each other. We have boundaries in our life, and we have extremely open communication, and it's been a journey to get here. And so I would love to talk about that. And also, lastly, I want to have more sex positive conversations. I want to talk more openly about things surrounding sex. I think it's a taboo subject that oftentimes women feel like we can't talk about. I mean, boys have their locker room talks. Why can't we have our girl talks? So I definitely want to create more content around that too. So thank you if you've made it this far. I'm so happy to have you here. I hope that you subscribe, hit the like button if this video was helpful for you or just fun to watch. I'm so excited to create more videos in this series, in this playlist. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. You can do better.